With an
nice.
R.
I'm
Yeah, dude.
Kyran. I am Ryan's cousin.
Oh man,
But I
Glad
can't.
to
yeah,
be
this should be
here.
a riot.
This should be hilarious.
Yeah, dude.
When I came in, you just said, "Oh, it's your cousin," over and over again. I'm like, "Does this guy have a name?" Like the other guy had a name. You were just like, "Yeah, my cousin's
What other
coming."
guy? Who are
Like,
you talking
Who are you
about?
talking about? Who is the other guy? The other guy who allegedly has the sickness, the plague.
Oh, the corona. Yeah,
The
we were supposed to
corona.
have another guest on, and he probably has the coronavirus, so
It's good. It's good stuff.
Down with
he'll be
3.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Contingencies.
Kyran, what's up, dude?
Not much, just been busy with work, and then I coach on the side, so that's fun. Been having a lot of fun with that. Besides that,
Just chilling,
just
man.
trying to chill. And
You,
make
what
it
do you do
through.
for work? You're a mechanic, right?
Yeah, I'm a mechanic.
Aspiring mechanic.
Yeah, I'm a mechanic at Jiffy Lube. It's not bad. I mean, it was better when I worked at another shop before, but I mean, just gotta find a job and go with it. You know what I mean?
Just gotta make it work, man.
Yeah, dude.
But
Where'd you work before?
before that, I worked at Wyndham Mobile in Wyndham, New Hampshire.
Okay.
It's not bad. I mean, it was a good job. Just didn't get along with the owner, so had to move on.
Small company?
Yeah, it was a small company, privately owned, so just wasn't.
It's a hit or miss, man. When it's
Yeah.
a small
When it's
company.
that small, it's like going.
Yeah.
It's like going to high school again, basically.
Yeah,
That's pretty
no,
much
it
what you
really
do.
is. That's kind of what it was. It was just a lot of work, BS, and
Yeah.
just didn't want to deal with it no more. I'd rather go somewhere where it's
A little more.
a little more just like just
Jiffy Lube
Yeah.
is a countrywide chain, right?
yeah, it's a country.
So a little
yeah,
bit more standardized. And
exactly. There's more like rules and stuff you like abide by, like you go by. So
Yeah. Better to be more streamlined than more decentralized with some guy who's just running around making stuff up.
yeah, exactly.
some guy running around with
It's like
ties.
one week
and
we're doing
ties
this,
around.
next week we're doing another thing. It's like,
And then it's
dude,
always your fault, though. It's never
always
their
your
fault. It's never their
You'll
fault.
tell them, we probably shouldn't do that,
Yeah.
Shouldn't touch it. Like, it's ready for the junkyard. And they still want you to work on it. And it's like, then all of a sudden something else is going wrong that's completely opposite of what you just worked on. Then it's all of a sudden your fault. So,
Yeah. Did someone come in with a complete shit box and they're just saying, hey, what can we do here? And in your head, you're just...
I'm just like, just throw it in the junkyard. Yeah, no, for real. That's
Someone comes in with a, I don't know anything about cars, so...
yeah, no.
What's the worst type of car? When someone comes in with this type of car, you just go,
I'm not pleased.
this is going to be a day.
Probably be Scions, older, like certain older model cars, like older BMWs. Pretty much any car that has like electronics comes in, like the newer Lexuses, BMW, Mercedes, stuff like that. It's going to be harder. It's more of a dealership type car.
Gotcha.
So, we most of the time you don't have the
Software.
tools, the software, the tools to work on the vehicle. So
Right.
it's better, just tell them to go to a dealership, and you'll be surprised how many people come in with, cars that, we definitely shouldn't touch. Like, they're brand new cars, and it's like, if you have the money
For
to buy
real?
it, then you
You
should
have the
be
money
able
to
to fix it. Yeah.
But
So,
the weird thing about that, though, is you can get car loans and you can't get a loan on a repair. Most people. Like,
Yeah,
all right,
exactly.
you buy a $40,000 car, you take out a $40,000 loan, you have a $5,000 problem. You need to pay that. You need to pay that mechanic when he
Yeah.
fixes your car. It's not
No,
like you take out a
exactly.
loan. So people just get in over their heads and then they drown, and then all of a sudden the car's not worth what it was when they bought it, and now they're just screwed.
yeah, well, just like any, like, carpenter, plumber, anyone who works in a trade field, you want to pay them for their knowledge. Like, a lot of people think you just pay for the part and stuff like that. So
Absolutely, yeah.
in the end, they'll be like, you just like, oh, why is it this much if the part's this much? Well, it's like, it takes 2
Labor
3
and-
hours
labor
of
and shit, yeah.
And labor's pretty expensive now. It's
Absolutely.
about $80 to $100 an hour. So
For real?
yeah, for most, work. That's why, like, brakes, they're normally like, at most like $250, but they're charging like $300-400. So,
It's
depends where you
reasonable,
go.
though. I mean, when you think about how much money, when people think about their salary from their job, they don't take into account all the benefits that go into it. I was talking to a guy who was a union operator. He's talking about a Saturday. He's like, oh yeah, I'm not coming in this Saturday because they're not running the equipment. And he was talking about how it's like a $1,500 day. I'm like, dude, shut up. It's a Saturday. We're here for 10 hours. Relax. And he goes through and he starts listing off everything in his pay stub. And he's talking about his pension. He's talking about his healthcare. He's talking about this. He's talking about that. And he was right. It was a $1,500 day to have that guy there. And it just put in perspective how expensive everybody actually is. I mean, people are expensive. Life is expensive. But yeah, it's interesting. It's really.
How do you feel about pensions? I mean,
I have one.
A lot of them are propped up by the private sector, right?
Mine is a private one. I'm the last. Literally, I got hired, and 2 months later, done. No more pensions. So I'm the last generation of people in my company in particular, which is kind of coming up to speed right now. Got a new president, but they're incredible if you get them. If they're privately funded, the publicly funded ones, such as the teachers, are not going to be there. They're just unsustainable. They won't. It's not happening. The numbers don't add up. So don't be stupid. I'm not.
They're definitely diving into Social Security, the government and stuff. I mean, there's no way, right?
It's not there.
There's no way.
It's not. It's
not really there. It's just more like money that they're like, oh, you'll save up, but then once you get older, they're hoping that you forget about it.
What it is they're buying votes. That's what's going on.
They're buying what?
They're buying votes. What politician is going to say to a teachers union, which is a vast number of people in a state, I am ending your publicly funded pension, or I'm going to...
Can you imagine?
You're not getting voted in. So they'll just vote for the person who's going to lie to them and just say, oh yeah, we're not going to touch the pensions. We're going to fund the pensions, not fund the pensions. Just let them have that illusion that it's funded and deal with, and they're out of office in 30 years. They don't care. So just kick the ball down the road. Why wouldn't you? That's the logical thing to do.
I don't know. Yeah, Social Security is kind of seems like a scam.
It's all. It's not there for us.
It's a scam. That's why I don't know. It's like you have to pick nowadays. It's like the two evils. Like the fact that they're not really allowing like a third party. I actually thought that chick JoJo was gonna have a good run. Like,
JoJo.
Yeah, I didn't think that she was gonna win it or whatever. There's always one of the two parties, but. That's what I'm saying. She might have took like 33% of votes or something. You know what I mean? Like,
1%, right?
1%. Yeah,
she took 1%. I think the highest a libertarian has taken is Gary Johnson, probably, and it was. I mean, how much?
If you go back 50 years, it was Ross Perot taking. I think Ross Perot ended up with something like 10%. That was in the 90s.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
for a libertarian.
Well, that Ross Perot wasn't a libertarian. He was a truly independent candidate, but that was the last time. And really, all he did was he just threw the election to the Democratic side because he took away from the people that would have gone for Republicans. That's really the problem with that is people feel like they're wasting their vote. In a way they are, in a way they aren't. Like that was a statement that it's possible to have a presence, but at the same time, it did cost people that might have voted in a different direction. It gave the election to the Democrats, which I'm not saying is good or bad, but that was the final outcome. Whatever side you lean towards, you're gonna detract from their base, and you're gonna maybe give it to the other side. So maybe your views get less representation. It's just difficult to pull back from. It's like it's hard to come back from.
Yeah, the Republicans and the Democrats hate when a third party like Kanye West comes in.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just hoping, like, one day maybe it will happen.
A libertarian gets into office, you're saying, or just an independent
third party, just an independent third
Somebody
party,
different,
like the Green Party.
Yeah, just because at this point, like,
the Green Party.
If you look at the Democrats and Republicans, like both parties are pretty corrupt, honestly.
Oh my God, it's not even close.
They're not really.
Joe Biden is changing his shorts every 30 minutes.
Everybody's the same.
Donald Trump is eating fast food 7 times a day. Who's there to vote for anymore?
There's really no one.
Even if you watch like the president debate, it's just like a shit show at this point.
It's rhetoric.
There's no legit arguments or anything. It's just a trash talking event. Like
there's no hope.
Yeah, there's no logics behind it or anything like legit like argument points or nothing. It's just all bullshit.
No. When I was watching the debate, I was just thinking to myself, who is going to shit their pants first?
Yeah, no, for real.
You know what I mean?
Both sad old people who are just done. Yeah, at the end, I wonder how it feels to be at the end of your life and feel like you just stand for absolutely nothing. I know kids who do it, and I'm like, wow, you're pretty spineless, and I don't really know how you really feel about yourself. When you're alone, you look in the mirror or in the morning, at night, whenever you do it, and you're just, all right, who am I?
They don't have mirrors in their house.
They don't have mirrors in their house. I got kicked out of a few classes in high school, but that was worth it. I mean, they said I was like,
I mean, it's high school. What are you learning, really?
Nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing.
exactly. There's a lot more they could be teaching, like, pretty
Trade
much how to
school.
properly list,
Right?
like a trade school. Yeah, like, actual like tools and like what you're gonna use that could actually help benefit your life. Because like if you look at the stats and all that, like if you haven't noticed, but like the trade is dying of like everything because everyone wants to sit in an office job.
They
Everyone's
need
lazy.
people. Yeah. They need electricians. They need,
yeah. I mean, electricians, plumbers, stuff like that, craftsmen, they get paid pretty good money. Automotive field and stuff like that, like the medical field, stuff like that, not so much because it's very crowded nowadays.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people just want to do stuff like that, like basic jobs. No one really wants to get their hands dirty anymore, but that's why, they're paying a lot more for stuff like that. And, it's pretty interesting because, just...
But it does. It wouldn't seem that way. I mean, I'm in the same business as you. I'm in construction on the GC end of a pretty major GC, and this month I have 2 people retiring that have been with company for like 40 years, and they're very skilled people. And when those holes open up, they want you to rise immediately because they're just dying for young people because no one wants to do it. It's our age, and I understand why. I mean, I've only been in the business for a couple months, but I get it.
Because, there's social media and all that. Everyone's like, oh, quick ways to, get rich, stuff like that. But there's a lot of ways, you can make money. But, there's some jobs, you don't even got to work a full day. You could work like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, till 2 in the afternoon. And still go on with your day, be in bed by 9, 10 o'clock at night,
Yeah, man.
So I feel like there's just a lot of laziness in our generation. I feel like
it's not even close. People are majoring in
business and stuff like that.
I don't know, hieroglyphics of the 15th century. I didn't know they had hieroglyphics in the 15th century.
A 4-year party loan.
I mean, they don't even party. Like, the people with the weird majors, they really don't party either.
I don't know what they do, though.
Stress a major that really there's not jobs in. I feel like if people did a lot more research, they'd notice, where you can really make the money. Because, a lot of people think that you're just going to skip all, like, the hard work and get to buying properties and stuff like that or make businesses.
Yeah, not even close.
You got to put the work in. You got to put the time, dedication, and, there's stuff like that. Like, for me, you just, like, people follow your dreams. Like, played football. I didn't, go that far, college, anything like that. But
yeah, but you like doing it.
I like doing it. So
you're going to look back on it and...
So, like, stuff like that, like, I have friends that are in real estate, stuff like that. You got to start somewhere. So I've been saving money with them. They've been looking for investors, stuff like that. And I started my own, like, little football league thing, stuff like that, with a couple other coaches. So we have our own, like, AAU type thing because they don't have that much in the Northeast up here like that. I mean, at least for football, they got baseball, basketball, stuff like that. But growing up, they didn't have that extra stuff for football. So I was like, hey, why not go out and start it? I found some guy that was already starting it, and I was like, hey, can I join and stuff like that? And, it's something I can make a little money here and there on, but at the same time doing something I love. So,
absolutely,
just stick with that. Then maybe one day, with my friends and stuff, we'll open a facility and have people like that. But, you just got to get, like, visions and stuff and just go with it. A lot of people do a lot of talking and not go with it, So,
100%. Have you been on Facebook?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be on Facebook.
The reason I deleted Facebook is I think I saw somebody who posted something that was, they said, I think it was this girl, and she was like, I just want everybody to know that I voted for Joe Biden.
Oh, great.
And
one of the, preaching.
Yeah. What do you think about that? What do I think about that? Massachusetts has, nobody cares besides maybe your Nana that lives up north and really doesn't know what's going on. And
still in like the 1920s.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Massachusetts hasn't voted left since 1984. Ronald Reagan.
We're never going
back.
No, that ship has sailed many, many moons ago. I think it's going to be really interesting looking back now when we're the Nana, what
You're gonna be a Nana? You're gonna switch your gender?
I'm gonna switch sides. I'm gonna switch teams halfway through. I mean, why not try both sides of the force? You know,
Transgender Nana.
apparently you
Not
got a
gonna
whole
be
bunch of
in love or
scholarships. Nah, I'll change my. I'll change it to whatever the trendy thing is at the time. I can't believe that when I went to school, I don't even want to do the math. I paid a lot of money to take Sociology 101, and I don't know.
It's like $2,000 a course.
It was a little more than that, I think, but it was right around there. And I have no idea what I learned. I learned that women's shampoo is more expensive. I guess that's good to know. They can just buy normal shampoo. That's all I remember.
I know what you mean. Like, there's a lot of stuff out there where it's like, you know, they got the courses and stuff, but like, you don't gotta pay it. You could learn it on the street at a normal job or something. Like, there's a lot that I learned in school going to college that I'm like, sometimes I wish I didn't go to college, because I learned more, you know, building cars, fixing it with my buddies or older, you know, gentlemen that I knew that, you know, had a lot of experience. They'd be like, hey, I got some side jobs I need a hand on. You want to learn something while also helping me out, you know?
Absolutely.
And I learned more in those like 2-3 hours than I did in a 10-week course, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about where you went to school and what you went to school for?
Yeah, so I went to school in New England Tech in Rhode Island. It wasn't bad. It was an 18-month program. It was pretty difficult when I was down there. It was, you know, at the time they didn't have housing and stuff like that, but even the housing they have now is pretty expensive, you know. Not like any housing's cheap, you know, anywhere you go, but it was, to me, it was cheaper to live on my own and just get a job, like you know, regular job,
just
probably
like
35 hours a week, you know.
Yeah.
I was delivery driving at Papagino's. It wasn't too bad. It was just like hard, difficult because, you know, you want like a social life, but also you're going to school full time. You're working almost full time. So, you know, you're sitting there, you're going to class till like 3-4 in the afternoon. Then you got to pick up a shift from like 5 to 10 at night, you know, just to make 5 hours. And then, you know, on a Saturday and Sunday, you're working almost all day.
Everyone wants
it's
pizza
like,
those days. That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it makes
Saturday,
sense
Sunday
to
pizza.
get work, you know, get tips on those days, you know, work weekends, Friday through Sunday. And, you know, obviously after the first year, it's not hard. The first year is always the most difficult when you first, I'd say, living on your own. Most people do it in their junior, senior year if they go to a 4-year program. And, yeah, so in those 4 years, usually your junior, senior year, you get to go to college or whatever. So, and live off campus. And, you know, that's when people first start. But when you're, you know, 18, 19, starting out of high school, you're moving out of state, stuff like that. It was a little tough. Luckily, I had some good friends that I made nearby. And I had some solid roommates and stuff like that. Not coworkers. Coworkers. I had a solid couple. But yeah, people I met at school and stuff, they helped me out with notes and stuff like that. You know, vice versa. If we miss a class, whatever, because we got to pick up a shift out, you know, work, whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you make your best friends in the worst situations. That's what I found.
Yeah, you know, you're in college, you know, you got like $40 to your name for the weekend. You're buying some, you know, whatever, maybe a ticket to an entry at a frat or something.
Cheetos for lunch.
Yes, exactly.
I remember I ate Taco Bell for like 3 days. And by the end of it, I was just in the bathroom. What am I doing with my life?
Who am I?
Yeah, no,
You need those moments.
Should I be here?
You need those. Those are the most important things that happen. Man.
Oh
Where you
man, just this one time I was in class and this dude just comes in and he says, you know, I fell asleep going to the bathroom before I came in here. It's like,
yeah, definitely it was cool because at school we had like a 15-20 minute break in between the class, so like it'd be like a 3-4 hour class, but in between you'd have you know, 2.5 hours, you get a break, then you got another 2.5 hours, whatever. Some, like for me, in my second year, you know, you had to take like 4 or 5 classes a semester. It's pretty difficult. You're there almost all day. But, you know, you make the most of it. You have kids that, you know, goof off in, you know, the parking lot. They'd be going out smoking in between class, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I went to an automotive school. So for, and just people do burnouts, going down the street to the convenience store in between class, whatever. You got the security guard chasing them like, hey, what the hell? Stuff's funny.
Do you feel that, so you went to a vocational college, right?
Yeah.
How much did you feel that prepared you for, working in the real world as a mechanic?
Working in the real world. So I went to a technical high school. So from that perspective, being in a technical high school, then going to college, it was pretty easy. I feel like I said, stuff I learned at college I didn't really need, but I learned other stuff, like we had a welding class and stuff like that. I didn't do that in high school. So, learning little stuff like that. They'd have pretty much retired mechanics come in and help us, teach us different tricks and stuff like that. Yeah. That was very helpful, especially when we were in brakes and suspension. The brakes and stuff like that, it wasn't too bad. Just stuff like that, like, it was very helpful.
Yeah, like how, if you had to put a percentage on how ready you felt when you got, a real job working on, 50,
well, the thing is, so like I said, I started off at Papagino's my first year. The second year, I was like, you know what,
of college, right?
Yeah, of college. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what, why don't I just hop in my field? Why am I not working in my field? Just one day, I just was sitting there waiting for deliveries, and I was like, I'm making enough money I can survive, but I want to make some money where I can, fix my car up,
get paid to learn.
Where you
can
get
paid to learn. Yeah. So, I want to suit my car up, make it nice looking, have fun with it. Why not? Just carpenters, they, maybe after a while they want a nice new bathroom or something, It's just fun, like that. Man. Why not use your trade in your knowledge and do something nice to your own for once?
Yeah, exactly.
So, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was getting down, paying bills and all that stuff. So, like I said, the first year is hard, but after that, it was, it was pretty easy. I lived down in Rhode Island for probably 3-4 years, and those are probably the best 3-4 years of my life. Not gonna lie, I had a lot of fun. It was a lot of, like I said, it was a lot of weekends where you're like, oh damn, I only got $50 to $100, but you had the most of it. You had your friends.
Yeah, you're gonna be talking about those stories for 50 years.
Of course. He was saying before, those are friends that you make because you're in hard spots. You're trying to juggle everything going on. You're living away from home, so
absolutely,
it was good, obviously a good learning experience. You're living on your own, stuff like that, or you're far away at school, learning to, get down to routine and stuff like that. So it's definitely good life building experience.
So you lived off campus, right?
Yeah, I lived off campus, so you have a little bit more freedom, but usually you're living in housing complex or something like that, or it's a 3-story home. There's 3 apartments in one house. It's 3 stories up. So you have neighbors and stuff. So you still got rules. You can't just be a loud asshole running around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta just you gotta have respect for your neighbors and stuff. So it definitely teaches you. But I mean, like I said, half the time you're working or out with your friends. You're not really home that often, I'll say, and at least from my experience. No. There's those people who are homebodies that like to get to it and stay in the books. But I like I said, I like to have a social life too. Get out and get your mind off stuff. You don't want to sit there and be stressing, your tests and stuff like that. You got to study.
Done that a few times.
And then, you got to study and then whatever. Because if you overthink it, you're second guessing yourself. Nah, just get the information down, go out, have some fun, and then, go back to studying again the next day.
I think the biggest thing that I took from college was how much more important my time was when I was out having fun, meeting people that I still talk to. Met Ryan my first year.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
True.
That's really what's important. I mean, the knowledge that is going to be on the test that Monday will come and go. If you get a C in the class, it's really not a big deal. I promise. GPA didn't come up once, ever. I've never had anyone ask me about my GPA in my life, except for my college application, which if it doesn't get asked about then, and even I'm going to probably go for grad school, I'm just going to kill the GMAT. I'm just going to kill no problem. I'm going to go grab my MBA, even for college. Kill the SAT, kill the ACT, spend all your time having fun.
Where are you going for your MBA?
Probably UMass.
Amherst?
probably Mass Amherst.
Amherst.
More than likely. I mean, I'm right there.
Not too much fun out there, you know.
Oh, dude, I've been there. I don't know. I'll have to see. I mean, it's probably gonna have to be online because I have a big boy job and I have actual things I need to take care of now, and I have a lot of people relying on me.
Definitely do when you got time, of course.
Yeah, I mean, now is the time. I mean, the farther I get into, the older you get, the more responsibilities you pick up, and then you have a kid, and then that is your life. In my opinion, it should be.
It's true.
That's all your free time, and it should be. You should be working to provide, and then working to build a person. But I don't have any. I just worry about myself.
No, we're young. We still got time.
Yeah.
I feel like right now it's like the time. Like I feel like you should go to college if you feel like you got something good. You should go to college for. If not, I definitely say wait. Most people are like, oh, don't wait because you got that year wait. You don't got to go in a year. You could wait 5 years, 10 years, Go for when you think you need, when you actually need an education to farther your career. That's when you should go. That's what I'd say because, like I said, I'm 50-50 on when I went to college. Like I said, I learned stuff to do stuff quicker, stuff like that. But there was also, like I said, classes, stuff like that where I'm like, I already learned that in high school. I don't, like, you know what I mean? If I was coming out of a regular high school, yes, I'd need the college, but I came out of a trade school, so it's more like, if you go to a trade school, I definitely double think before going to college. Do I really need to go to further my skill? Like, can I take a class that just is on that subject I need, or like that specific job that I need a training on?
Could you go get a welding cert at a community college? I think the big thing is ask the employer. Ask who you want to work for. I mean, if you're going to go to college, you better... I would hope that you have a rough idea what you want to do.
Exactly.
I mean, you knew exactly what you wanted to do. I went in my freshman year. I don't even remember what I was. I was finance, and then I was business, and then I kicked myself. And I'm like, all right, this was all in the course of about 3 months. I looked at my jobs. It was like, okay, what can I do? I can do realistically. I can do a trade, or I can do computer science. Though that's what it came down to, or engineering. And I wasn't going to do I wasn't going to be like a chemical engineer. I didn't find that interesting. So I ended up in construction because I just looked at my options. All right, what can I actually get a job in? What will I actually enjoy? And what you're talking about earlier, might as well own properties. There's only so much land. I mean, I didn't want to get into continental crust and things like that. But bottom line, we're going to be okay. If you buy land largely in an area that has some sort of economic pulse, you will win long term. If you just own it,
of course.
You stay calm. So I picked up the oldest business that there is. I mean, you read all those history books about people fighting and dying over land, king's sons killing each other to inherit all his land. I figured, hey, I don't even have to kill anybody. I can just buy it. And then I'll know all about it. I'll be able to build it, destroy it, whatever I need to do.
Exactly.
I mean,
It's your land. No.
That's
what
awesome.
I'm saying, but you got to get to that point. That's why I say, like, if I didn't go to college, I might have extra money, aside right now, you know. Could have went to community college, like you said, to get, like, welding certification, stuff like that. I didn't have, maybe take a diagnostics class for automotive to diagnose, like, those big fancy cars like Mercedes and BMW, stuff like that. But,
how do you feel about question 1? Massachusetts.
the right to repair.
I didn't.
The right to repair. Yeah, it's just basically can dealerships have a monopoly in repairing their own cars after they sell them, or does the person who buys a car have the right to choose where they repair it? Like on your iPhone, you don't own the software that's on your iPhone.
Yeah, no, iPhone owns it. But for question 1, I'd say I feel like once you own your car, it's your car. Like someone shouldn't have a say on where you should get it fixed. You have a buddy like me who can, put something in that's much cheaper, you might only need to pay me like $100 versus a dealer. They're like $400.
And they know they have the market cornered at that point. At that point,
Exactly.
you can only go there.
Like I said, if you have an expensive car like Land Rover, BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, stuff like that, you should have the money to fix it at the dealership,
So. Yeah.
That's, they mostly nowadays they make just software that only they have. If you want to buy it, it's a couple $1,000s. So most mechanics aren't like, let me dish it out, because if it's only going to be like that for a couple of year models, and then they're going to switch the software again
to make more money.
Exactly. So I've been noticing stuff like that with the dealership. So, instead of sitting there stressing yourself out, might as well just, X those out of your garage. There's just stuff like that I've looked into. Obviously, I took classes like, instead of math and stuff like that we had in college, it was more like, owning a business. So like, oh, we gave you $25,000 loan.
Sure.
What are you going to buy to put in your shop? You already bought the shop and the land, It's just at this point you got a loan to get tools. What are you going to buy? It's stuff like that they put in our heads. So it's like you actually got to critically think, like, as a business owner, maybe they, out of high school, you're pretty smart. Like, I had a kid, JR, he actually switched out of that to go into mechanical engineering.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's
most popular engineering major. By far.
Well, the thing is, he bought like a 3D printer, stuff like that. He was just a very smart kid like that. He just wanted to, he just science. He just wanted to learn a lot, about new stuff. Like, they were like, oh, you can make a gun out of, freaking a 3D printer with the plastic. He wanted to try stupid stuff like that. He made like shift knobs, ashtrays, all. He was just messing around with the thing, but we're all like, dude, like, why are you messing around with cars if you can do all these equations and stuff like that? Why not go do something,
sure,
in your bracket of, what you can do instead of waste your talents and just turning a wrench. You know what I mean? Go build the cars.
Yeah,
make the cars.
Yeah, design the parts for the car.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
there's a place for everybody.
You just got. I feel like that's another thing with life is like a lot of people nowadays are just trying to tear them like everyone down. Like, build your friends up. If you feel like they're wasting their talents or they're better off somewhere else, like, tell them. You know what I mean? Speak up. Like, help everyone out. Like, instead of sit there and be like, oh, like, me and you are about the same IQ. And then I'd be like, F you, no, we could work together to make something amazing.
Yeah,
I mean?
Absolutely.
No, seriously.
So, there was a lot of that I feel like I saw in college, a lot of people being like, oh, I'm trying to be top dog in that class. Well, why not help everyone else get A's, Like,
it's so silly, man. It's so silly. The competitiveness is so backwards because it's like, all right, so now you've alienated I don't know how many kids were in your class, but let's just say like a normal class, just in grade school, 30 kids in your class. Mm-hmm. You're the number one kid in that class. Congratulations. You are now alone at the top, and you alienated 29 people who are going to grow into adults and have opportunities. Mm-hmm. I mean, the people that I've been friends with my whole life, we're all grown. We all did different things. But if I call them and I say, hey, I'm in a tough spot, let's figure something out, and you have a good reputation, that's how you move. That's how you live your life and be successful. Yeah.
It's all about making the, I feel like, connections, getting out there, webbing with people, branching yourself out there. There's many ways you could put it, but I just feel like that was like a main thing in college is like, I might not have been the smartest, but I was friends with that kid. His name's JR. Shout out to him. But he was definitely, a brilliant kid. He had, roommates that weren't, the brightest, they were like me. They were good at turning a wrench, we knew our ins and outs of a car, but, he definitely had like, his different ways of doing things and stuff like that were way better than us. And, he'd help us out. So that's why, like, I say that because there was a lot of people who were, like I said, smart, but, they would sit here and kiss the teacher's ass instead of, we're all here to try to get to the next class without failing. We're not here trying to be like, fuck everyone else. It's just me moving on. No, like, because especially, obviously, we're in automotive, there's group projects and stuff like that, They're like, hey, you got to build and disassemble an engine or whatever, all right? So we had an engine class, and that was our project.
You completely disassembled an engine and put it back together?
Yeah, so they gave us...
that's pretty cool.
At New England Tech, they have a bunch of cars that, they're donated to the school, whether they be brand new or, they're from 1999 or something. Sure, yeah. So, they would give us all different vehicles and models and stuff like that and be like, all right, so you four are on this car, you guys got to take it apart and put it back together, and hopefully it works.
Hopefully it works.
But
did they make one of you drive it on the highway?
No, or we just tested on the back road. We didn't even hooked it up. We started it, made sure it drove like in the parking lot, came back in. That's it. Nothing too crazy.
Did one group's car fucking explode?
Not that I know of. Not in my class, at least. We were pretty solid.
Mm.
Like I said, we pretty much, like, I feel like my group was pretty good. We worked together, but I was friends with older people where it was more like there's groups, like, people just, like, grouped up and that was their group. And it's like, maybe if they sprawled out and worked with different people, it would, their whole class would have succeeded versus, a couple of groups.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I feel like that's the way we looked at it. We looked at it as, we had people from all different ages. Like we had this guy who he did two tours in the Army, and he was 28 in our class, and the rest of us are 18, 19.
Kids compared to him,
sometimes
yeah.
20. But he was definitely older. But he was in the military. He worked on Humvees and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. Like just the different people. We had different backgrounds, stuff like that. So it definitely helped out when we all switched around, worked together, because he might have a trick or two working on that. If we were working on a truck or something like that, he would be like, "Oh, that's similar to what I was working on. Let me try something," and then it'd work.
Dad, what are you making?
Yeah.
Yeah, like my first job experience, I was a data scientist in Cambridge at a biotech company. And I thought it was going to be laid back, and I walk in the first day and just sitting at my desk, downloading all the software and stuff on my Mac. And all I hear in the conference room is these like two Indian guys arguing. This is not faster. It is faster this way. Dude, Indians take their data science very seriously.
Dude, everyone takes their data science seriously. That's a multi-million-dollar.
Oh my God.
Trillion, that data is everything. Data's you're the product.
The job.
Yeah, well, data's the internet. I mean, that's why we have Facebook. That's why we have Twitter. That's what YouTube is. You're the product.
Yeah, Google knows you better than you know yourself.
Basically. Yeah, if you use it enough. Which is terrifying when you think about it. I mean, there's no check on Google.
This is what you like.
And here's all the.
And you're like, no, I don't.
Do you ever? Do you ever talk?
They're never wrong.
I've never surfed in my life. Why am I? Yeah. Have you ever talked about something with your friends, and it later, maybe like a week later, pops up as an advertisement?
Not even it, like
a day later.
minutes
The
later.
next day.
No, like
just talking about something.
I just had a conversation on the phone. Boom! I hang up. I go on Facebook probably like 4 or 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
What's right there as an ad? What I was just talking about.
On a phone call?
So it'll be like, hey, I need a new skillet. My old skillet, is pretty in rough shape. Then you hang up, you go on it, first ad, hey, kitchenware. It's a skillet.
No way.
Yeah,
really?
For real.
Did you not hear about what Snowden put out 10 years ago? They're listening to everything.
I mean, I did, but that wasn't for advertisements and stuff. They were just listening in on everybody.
You sell that stuff eventually. That stuff trickles out. I mean, if it's worth a lot. It's worth a lot to know what somebody wants. I mean, national security wise, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Just breaks down, what you're looking for and everything,
And he wasn't even college educated or anything, right? And he had access to everything. No. I think he went to community college for a little while.
If you go into the military, the ASVAB's...
Yeah, you're going to learn some software.
You're going to figure it out. I mean, if you're really a bright person, it's largely an IQ test. The ASVAB. You can study for the components of it that are part of a trade, but there are sections of it that are just going to test your general intelligence. And if you're really bright, they will get you on a track to where you will max out. This is what you can do.
There's cutoffs, right? For say you want to do a certain profession, you have to have a certain ASVAB score.
Yep, you have to have a general score, like a general. God, I took it. I just thought I took it just to have it as an option.
You took the ASVAB?
Yeah, took it in high school.
Is it like the SAT?
It's really not that hard, in my opinion. I mean,
it's pretty simple.
It's pretty straightforward.
I feel like it is because they're trying to get more people in the military by day. I mean, how many people? I feel like at least once a year I have a recruiter trying to add me on Facebook or something.
Oh my God, and they message you?
They message you, hey, you think about joining the military? Like, if I do, I'll let you know.
I like how they try to talk to you like they know you.
It's kind of weird.
Hey Ryan, it's been a while. Wait a minute, Sergeant Snickers. I've
Sergeant Snickers.
I've never talked to you in my entire life. Eh?
It's really odd because I have friends that wanted to be in. And when they were going, when they were being recruited or in the recruit phase, the whole thing just sounded so like dystopian. All right, like my recruiters need to come in today and we're going to talk about my bonus or how it's going to work and whatnot. And I've heard a couple stories where they just lied. They straight up just did not tell the truth.
Oh,
I've heard that. I've heard that before.
They're just gonna bullshit you to get you in.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I have a lot of friends in the military. You know, there's a lot of stuff they can talk about. There's a lot of stuff they can't. But
yeah.
The most general I get out of it is it's not bad right now. We're not at war, so like a lot of people are sitting around at a base just on watch, whatever. For the most part, you know, you got watch Monday, Tuesday, Friday, whatever.
Isn't that crazy?
You're off.
We're
But it's
not at war.
16-hour shifts. Yeah, I know.
When's the last time
Afghan war, and we're still getting people out of
that has happened?
Afghan, Iraq, all that.
That shouldn't be as shocking as it is. The fact that we're surprised that we're not at war, it should be completely the other way around.
I feel like it's a good and bad thing because like it could be a bad thing because you know it could be someone could be brewing against us, you know, like another 9/11 type deal, or
That's what the CIA's for.
you know, Omaha, whatever the hell, you know, stuff.
Foreign affairs.
I don't worry about those things
Pearl
because
Harbor bombing, stuff like that.
that will never happen now.
Crazy.
It
definitely could.
Definitely not. There's too many satellites and stuff. I know what you mean.
Think so?
Remember you were talking about how they were asking you, but there was an advertisement for your skill at 2 seconds later. There's also, I'm sure that the same people that it's out there that the government's listening to everybody basically everywhere. So if they want to stop it, they can stop it.
I mean, most people just put all of their stuff online anyway, so it's easy. You really don't have to. You can just look at someone's Twitter or.
I mean, most people who are going to war or whatever, like war, mostly like gang bullshit stuff like that. Most of the time, they're listening, they're watching, they're just waiting for it to go down or whatever to go down, and then then they'll come in because the evidence is there, all that. They might even stop a rape before if they're good enough.
Yeah, well,
that's just stuff like that. Like you're saying, they're listening.
You won't hear about it though. I mean, that's what the CIA is for.
It's all quiet. It's all hush hush.
It's perfect though. I think it's great. I mean, I'd rather have that than home. I mean, great. I'm glad that my friends have the military as an avenue to advance their lives. I'm also glad that they're not out there. There's less people out there sweeping for IEDs, getting blown up, getting shot. I'd rather,
because there's so much stuff like, and like I was saying, my friends in the military, they're mostly sitting on base, but a lot of them didn't sign up for that. They wanted to go to war, They grew up, watching and playing with G.I. Joes and stuff like that, playing Call of Duty. They're like, I want to go undercover and, go and do secret operations.
That's what's hard, man. I mean, when you're 18, you're an adult legally, but you don't know anything.
Oh my, not even close.
Sure, when they signed up, like, hey, I want to go Army infantry for.
But you're signing up for 4 years,
which is insane. And then 4 years, you can get your.
It's a long time.
You're just getting
you can get called back.
Yeah,
you can get called back.
Everything is an 8-year contract. Doesn't matter if you go 2x6, 4x4, 6x2. It's all 8 years.
Well, no. One thing I've noticed is like my friends who are in the military who traveled. They love it, but the ones who are stuck in state, like in California, Texas,
sure,
the Carolinas, wherever the hell, whatever base
they get stuck.
Like I said, they're stuck on shift watching. It's cool overseas because your downtime, you're learning about a whole different culture, and stuff like that.
Adventure,
exactly. Like it's an adventure. It's fun. You're like, oh damn, I'm in another country. Like
it's surreal.
I'm in a different life. You know what I mean?
You're actually an adult now. Yeah. You actually did something. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but if you're not, you're just in California. Like, you feel like you're just partying and bullshit, doing the same shit you were doing in high school, pretty much. You know, instead of going to class, you're going on shift, sitting somewhere for a couple hours. But, I mean, it's all pretty much, I feel like, what you make of it, just like most of life. Because
absolutely,
at the same time, like, I have a couple of friends who, they use their military to their advantage. They saved up money, lived in barracks and stuff like that. And now they own a couple properties.
Oh, really?
That's brilliant. Yeah.
Because what you do is, one of my friends down in Virginia, he taught me, is when you go in, when you go get a loan, when you've been there for a year or two.
Yeah.
The percentage that you got to pay back is almost nothing. Like, you know what I mean? You're just pretty much paying for the house. Like,
there's no
the
real
percentage added on to it, you don't got to pay.
What's the interest?
So I'm saying the interest, I
Very low?
couldn't tell you because obviously it's like top secret, whatever. It's military, but pretty much he said it's almost nothing. And after a while, after you paid a certain amount, you can switch it into like a regular loan, and then you can go get another military loan. So then you have 2 loans for 2 different houses. So it's like you're building you're building a capital over time.
Sure. Yeah, it's a VA home loan.
That's what it's
I'm sure I'm sure you can look it up. I know most of the stuff in the military financials isn't publicly available, not a ton of it, but if you want to look into the COLA, which is cost of living allowance, that varies from county to county. That's public information. If you want to look into VA home loans, I'm sure that we could get the interest rate on that. There's a reason that the military can recruit people. It's because if you do it correctly and you use it as a platform to set up your life, you can have a very successful life. You also give up your life potentially, whether it be physically or mentally. So it depends upon what situation you're in. If you have nothing, join the military.
Yeah, the earlier the better too. If you join like the what is it, ROTC?
ROTC is going to make you
that's
an
another
officer.
bonus.
Helps you,
that's another bonus right
there. You're
there.
an officer going straight in.
That's another bonus. You go to college, you have a bachelor's degree.
That is the number one source of scholarships.
Right. You start off making what, $3,000 a month, $4,000 for military starting out.
And just like we said
that's
earlier,
a lot of money.
That's not including benefits, which in the military is insane. You need to think
insane
about that.
benefits. Yeah. You get married, isn't that another bonus?
Right? Especially if your spouse is in the military, you're almost doubling what you guys are making. It's crazy.
It is crazy. It's crazy, but there's a reason that not a lot of people. When we sit here and talk about it, and you do it on paper, it is. I should be in the military.
Well, it's just like
that's what it tells you.
It's like regular life. Like you can save money and invest it in stuff that's going to make you money over time, or you could just blow it on partying and bullshit.
And that's the problem. That's what I was going to say. Once you actually are in there, there's a reason that so few people make it to 20 years because life is not on paper. But if you need to just grind out 3 years to at least have the resources on the piece of paper instead of just having it be blank, there you go. That's what you need to do.
There's lifelong benefits for just doing your 4-year bid, right?
You get like we were talking way earlier in the podcast, like you get those 401ks, stuff like that. So, you get those long-term benefits, but, if you tap into that early, you're not going to have shit, later in your life. I mean, some people retire at like 45, 50. And then, by the time they're 70, they're like, shit, I got to work at Home Depot the rest of my life instead of,
actually enjoying yourself.
Just actually enjoying yourself in Florida or, California somewhere.
Old people places.
Florida, man.
Exactly.
Florida, the old people, it's bad.
It's crazy.
Have you seen people drive in that state?
I have not.
I
have.
next month.
And there are a couple times. It's
my Nana hit a wall down there, literally just a garage wall. That gives you an idea how. Well, I mean, that's anecdotal, but still, she literally was in a garage and she just drove her car into a concrete wall.
When you hear about somebody that literally
awful
drives through the drive-through of a bank or a McDonald's trying to get that 2 for $4 special or whatever, it's in Florida. I mean, come on.
It's like it has the craziness of South America bleeds into Florida, and I love it.
A lot of Cubans.
A lot of Cubans. I would,
that's why they vote red.
I can't.
Yeah,
that's why Florida's red a lot.
They're scared of communism.
The Cubans.
Still, which it hasn't been that long. It's only been a generation, if that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm definitely excited to go down there. I got a football tournament down there.
Oh, for real? How long are you going?
I'm going for 10 days.
That's a good amount of time.
I'm going the 3rd to the 13th of December. I'm going for like a pretty much it's just the best of the best of everything. We're going to be Northeast, so it's like Mass, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Vermont, Maine, like all those areas. We made one solid team of the best of the best, and we're going to go down there versus Florida teams, Texas teams, California, see what we can do against
awesome.
them. Yeah.
It sounds like a good time.
But there's some downtime. We got some days off, so definitely looking to, see the area.
Hit up Disney?
What part of Florida? Because Florida is a big, like, all right, United States in general is big, but
it's about an hour from Orlando,
massive.
45 minutes from Tampa.
Gotcha. So you're like,
okay.
It's
I'm trying to think of what it's called. I'm trying.
That gives you a gauge, because there's a lot of like Jacksonville versus Miami
it's the
versus...
east. It's the East Coast of Florida. So It's gonna be cool. I think we're only like 20 minutes from the beach or something like
For
that.
kids.
So.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean,
in
it's a red
December,
state
that's
right
gonna
now.
be a good time.
Yeah.
It's a red
You're
state
gonna have a
right
good
now,
time.
so we'll see. But like you said, it'll be December, so maybe people will be home for the holidays. It'll be more inside, whatever. Drop down to yellow states, so
Yeah.
maybe we can enjoy more than just a pool at the house we're staying at, stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
But now I plan on going it with my 15U team. It's 14, 15-year-olds, and they're all like freshmen, sophomores. They're all very serious about what they do football wise. So
Yeah.
it's not like I gotta worry about them fucking around and shit like that. Like they all know it's like a business trip. We're trying to get noticed by scouts, stuff like that. So
Absolutely.
So college scouts are down there
Yeah.
looking.
Well,
Wow, that early, 15.
Well, yeah, 14, 15 years old. They're
Wow.
freshmen, sophomores.
They're almost done. Yeah, they're almost in college.
They want to see what their skill is, and then they're going to follow them through their high school career and see
Yeah.
what they can do if, they flop or if they succeed. That's why I tell the kids, I'm like, like, it's cool to party and bullshit in high school. Everyone does it. I mean, who doesn't? Everyone does. But,
Yeah.
Varying extents, yeah.
you got to do it to an extent where, you're not jeopardizing your career and stuff like that. You're not showing up hungover to games or whatever.
Opportunity
it is.
cost,
So,
man. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or you're, intoxicated at games or whatever. Like, I've heard some
Has
crazy
that
story.
happened? Someone just shit faced.
I've seen it at games in high school. I haven't done it
man.
myself. I've seen it, I've heard about it. Just stuff like that. Just, and it'd be like good athletes too, you're like, damn, you're gonna really jeopardize your career. Like, what if you get caught by the head coach or a referee or something? Like,
What's
you're fucked.
weird about that is I would play basketball and I'd be very decent. I was never great, but I was respectable.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would go play sober with the team. Just could not get it together. Went to a game drunk.
You did?
I went to a game flat out drunk. Scored like 30 points. No, I'm kidding. I wish I was kidding. Never did it again. But
Like, if I did.
I never did it again because I was like, okay, it's the reason I've never done any sort of
Hungover at
stimulant.
halftime.
No, I was good to go. I was good to go for the whole game. It was
This kid's dunking and he's eating sandwiches on the bench.
Makes you relax. It
He's
calms you
eating
down.
hungover pizza on the bench.
It's this,
Frozen hungover pizza.
dude. I was known as the pajama pants guy because I'd walk into the games with pajama pants over my shorts, and I would just go.
You know what's crazy? I have a lot of kids who show up to practice like that. They'll wear, they'll have their football pants on, all the pads and all that,
Yeah.
and then they'll put pajama pants over. And I'm like, dude, what do you do? Like, sleep in your pants, and then you decide to show up to practice?
Dude,
at
it
the
was
game?
just
Like,
cold for me because I was wearing shorts underneath. But for
that's what I'm
football,
saying.
I don't
But
know.
like,
It's a
you
little
don't wear
weird.
sweatpants done.
I
Like,
don't know.
get it. I've never done
Yeah,
it.
pajama pants.
It was
I
just-
mean,
it
it's
was-
comfortable, I guess.
Yeah,
Fuzzy, I don't know.
if you're wearing the football pads too. Is it
did
really comfortable?
Football, I don't know. In basketball, I did it once. And
But
then
yeah,
it
you're
was,
just wearing shorts underneath.
you're not having fun, man. It's cold, and especially in an old, crappy
It's
school.
Usually winter, yeah.
Yeah.
How many people went to your school?
Which one? High school?
Yeah, high school.
Couple thousand, probably 2,500, 3,000.
Same.
Where'd
Yeah.
you go?
I went to BR, Bridgewater Regional, and I actually,
yeah.
I didn't have a
I went
great
to,
time in high school.
Great Little Tech. It was the
Yeah.
same. I had about 2,500 kids.
That's a good, I think it's a good number. I think it could be a little bit less, but it's a decent amount of, you can find people that you click with.
Well, I feel like that's the thing is like there's so many different people and stuff like that. It's almost great because,
yeah.
that's society.
Yeah, because
There's
that's life,
millions of
yeah.
people.
Your school was also a regional high school.
Yeah,
like
it
mine.
was like
so
five different
towns
yeah.
at one high school. Walking in
Wow.
the first
So
day, it was weird,
There's
huh?
a lot of personality in the school.
That's
Yeah.
really cool. You got 5 different towns.
Yeah,
'Cause
walking in at 14 on the first day, and you know
everyone remembers their
you-
first
you
day.
know,
High
like,
school.
you know, a fifth.
I'm from Lowell.
Yeah.
Where you from? Oh, I'm from Tingsboro, Dunstable.
Yeah, it's a little weird. And then
whatever,
I don't know how Greater Lowell works, but at Shawsheen, you go through 12 shops your freshman year
yeah,
every other week.
pretty much. It was like every 3 weeks you're rotating. I wouldn't say about 12. I'd say more about like 9, 8, 9. You pick
8, 9 shops.
You pick those shops you want. They'll be like, they'll mix it.
They let you pick
based on,
the shops freshman year that you want to go through?
Yeah, well, more like 8th grade, when you take the test to get into the school.
Right.
They're
the
like,
test.
hey, what shops do you want to go to our
What are
school
you
for?
interested in?
Why
Yeah.
are you coming to our school? What do you want to go for?
That's reasonable.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Do you guys also have an interview?
it's more like a test. You got to take a test, and if you pass it, and based on that test is what shops, you wrote down
What's
in your
available.
top.
Yeah.
They'll probably have about 20, 24 shops. They're like, hey, what's your top 10? What's your top 12?
Right.
And then you write it down, and then you take your test, and based off your scores, and what you said you want to go to, that's what they throw you in. So
That would scare me. I went to a standard high school, but that would scare the hell out of me if I'm like, all right, I really want to be an electrician, and then that's your number one shop, and that I'm just picking that because I feel like that's gonna be a popular shop, and then you
Very
don't-
popular shop.
you
popular,
don't
yeah.
get
Very popular
Very
shop.
popular shop.
and you
Like,
don't
girls
get
even
electrician. I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's a
couple
that's
girls.
it's a decent union job, especially around here.
Of course.
But if you don't get it, now you're at a trade school. You didn't get the trade you want. I'm not saying that you can't find another trade. I'm just like in college, you go
Hey,
pick your major. That's it.
I wanted to go to school for engineering.
Yeah,
I did not know till I graduated we had engineering in my school.
that's crazy.
Greater Law has engineering.
You had to have
Damn.
above an 80 on your entry test, and then on top of that, you have to be in honors.
Okay.
What
For, like,
engineering?
English, math, all that.
Just your basic
What engineering
classes,
do you
yeah.
have? Is it just like a general
Just a
engineering
general
class?
engineering. They give you a bunch, like each year, it's like they throw something different at you.
Cool.
Just like, you went to school for engineering, so it's more like a bunch
Yeah,
of
still in school.
different formulas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's more what it is, breaking down.
They called it pre-eng at my school. It was just like general shit. Just
general engineering. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. They throw a little bit of everything at you, and they're like, so when you go to college, there's all these different engineering classes. You
Yeah.
gotta choose what you want, and that's when it's
Yeah.
like, oh shit,
Dude, there's some serious weed out classes. And when you go to college engineering, there's at least 2 to 3 classes that are 40% do not make it through these classes, whether it's, and they do it on purpose because
Absolutely.
they want
That's
they
crazy.
want the reputation. They don't want some dude that's picking his nose in the back row and
Oh, of course, they want someone who knows what they're talking about.
yeah, exactly.
That was like my college. There was actually a 40% dropout rate. I
The
actually
whole college was
I had a roommate
Holy
where he
shit.
didn't even last a month in college.
What happened though?
My first roommate, so that's what I mean. My first year was hard.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's really all based on your everything. But so there was a big group of, when you first go there's a big group of us. We're looking at places you want to live. You choose where you want to live, and then based on that, it's like, all right, these kids in your like showing of places to live, want to live at the same place you choose. All right, so then you talk to them. You figure out which roommates you feel like you'd work with better, based on how you live your life.
Sure, just
whatever.
who you are as people. Yeah.
Just general. Hey, like
Right.
What are your interests? Stuff
Are
like
you
that.
are you get a party
Are you
every
gonna
weekend?
kill me in your sleep or not? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Sometimes
You're gonna eat my leftovers. Or you're gonna clean your dishes.
Yeah.
All that nonsense.
You have very real life conversations. And then I had this kid who he came from money, stuff like that. So I was like, oh, he's gonna be a good roommate because if he screws up, because
Oh, his parents can bail
Was he
him.
crazy?
I see
His parents can
your
bail
thinking.
him.
Was
So,
he crazy?
No, it wasn't
Really?
even that. It was more like he just, he was a mama's boy. He wanted to be back home. He missed home. He realized college isn't a party at New England Tech. It's, we're very
You're
serious.
there to
It's-
learn. Yeah.
It's an 18-month program wherever you go. Like, you're not there to fuck around. You're there.
Right.
You're there to buckle down, get your shit done. I mean, there's party schools in the area like URI. What's it called? Johnson and Wales.
Amherst,
Sure.
UMass Amherst is a big party school.
and
Yeah.
Providence, that's a
Well,
long
Providence,
way.
that's a
3
trip. That's
hours.
why
Man.
I'm
Oh,
saying-
yeah.
You got 11 colleges in a 20-mile radius.
Yeah. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Yeah, you
You're
came to
good
Dartmouth
go.
a couple
Yeah,
times, right?
Dartmouth wasn't bad. That was a good visit.
The Dirty D.
The dirty D.
The dirty.
Going back there is grimy. I love
But,
it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so the kid just, realized, you know, this is some real shit that I don't want to get into, and
It's not for
he
everybody,
wanted the
man.
party. You know, that's why most people go to college. But at the same time, like I said, you know, you want to go to college when you know that's what you want to do, or you know,
Yeah.
that's, you know, you need to actually go there to get the education to further your career.
You need
stuff
to
like
be on
that.
your
Yeah.
timeline.
You need to be on your shit pretty
Yeah.
much.
The problem is there are some majors that you can just skimp by and do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah,
but when
you
it
get
comes
in
to
trouble.
engineering and stuff, no, they're gonna weed you out freshman or sophomore year. They're gonna
No, exactly.
everybody junior year that's in that program either has a trash GPA or, you know, they know what they want to do with their life.
Well, that's why we had a 40% dropout rate at New England Tech, because a lot of people are like, oh, you know, there's all these party schools nearby. We're gonna bullshit. No, like, if you're not passing, they're coming down to your class and be like, hey, we gotta talk to you up in, you know,
Up in
No
up
way.
in class,
For real?
you know,
Yeah.
and be like,
Wow,
you know,
man.
you gotta stay 15 minutes after, whatever. And then you sit there, wait for your turn to talk to the teacher, and you're like, hey, you know, you're failing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, this is what you got, this is what you gave me. Because some people wouldn't hand in the homework, and the homework was easy. It was multiple choice questions, 10 to 15 questions, or
Yeah.
20 questions most.
Damn.
And, you know, you could, I wouldn't say you could cheat, but, like, you know, if
Google
you
it,
don't got
man.
a
I mean, it's
textbook,
multiple choice, yeah.
if you don't got a textbook, you could Google, you know, the topic, you know, look it down a couple of sentences, get the grasp of it. If you don't, then you don't, and that's when you got to stay after and talk to the teacher, you know? There's multiple ways that you could help yourself, but some people just wouldn't help themselves. And,
It's so much. It's so
you know,
interesting.
then they're
Yeah.
failing out, and they fail at once. They're like, I don't want to take the class again. So they just drop out. And,
Damn.
you know.
How many
it's-
people go to New England Tech, if you had to guess?
I'd say there would be about 120 a subject. There's about 3 different classes for that subject. You know, they do it at different times. Like, you know, we have brakes and suspension, then you have welding, and then you have, like, history of the automotive.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And then...
Oh, really? You guys dive
but-
into history?
But then, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And, you know, like, how, like, Ford, you know, made the first car and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, that's awesome,
But,
man.
Yeah, absolutely.
stuff like that. And pretty much... And then other people have, like, the history, then welding, then, you know, brakes and suspension. It all, like, rotate. So, but...
So how many people do you, like, a few thousand?
that's what I'm saying.
or-
Like, a couple hundred in each...
Wow. Okay.
each subject. Like, I wouldn't say a couple. I'd say probably 200 at max.
Sure.
But you know, you're, like I said, like, it's like going to a technical high school and a regional. You know, there you got 5 towns trying to get into. You got to take a test to see who's, you know, capable.
Yeah,
That's
man.
crazy.
That was a
Stuff
bit
like
stressful
that.
taking that test for high school.
For